Last Pint Productions presents the New Way podcast. The New Way contains adult content, and new episodes are released most Wednesdays. So back off, man. We're professionals. Listener discretion is advised.
So you were in Vietnam, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah?
Were you in the shit?
Yeah, I was in shit.
Last night, Darth Vader came down from planet Vulcan and told me that if I didn't take Lorraine out, that he'd melt my brain.
Here's how you get him. He pulls a knife, you pull a gun. He sends one of yours to the hospital, you send one of his to the morgue.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Everybody wants to be naked and famous. Everybody wants to be just like me. I'm naked.
Will you help teach me about this? What is it? A new way?
Hello, and welcome once again to the New Way podcast. We break down pop culture so you don't have to. I am one of your three hosts this evening, and my name is Matt Shank. I'm joined in the co-captain's chair here by Mr. Benjamin Scott Wilson.
In studio, in person.
In person. You smell great. You look wonderful. It's just a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
And it's an honor and a pleasure, Matt, always to be here with you.
And joining in from Los Angeles, although next week he will be here gracing us with his physical presence, Mr. Nick Santa Croce.
I will be bringing my musk as well, although it won't be as pleasant as Benjamin Scott
I
Wilson.
do miss the Nick musk around the house. It was a nice, comforting, feeling to walk into the house and go, "There's another person here."
Also, it means you're attracted to me sexually, I believe. Other people find it repulsive. It only attracts potential mates.
They're called pheromones, Matt.
Was there a doubt? Was there a did I deny this at any point? I don't think.
No.
This is the most.
This
is the least newsworthy thing you've ever told anyone in the New Way.
I think the only reason why you ever kicked Nick out of your house to begin with was because you just couldn't stand the...
It was. To be so close and not be able to have it, it was like, it was brutal. It was really brutal.
Well, you didn't say please.
I thought that was part of the game. Oh, boy.
It wasn't a power play. I just wanted you to be polite.
I listen. That's how Goofy and his wife met. So it's the same thing. It's just a pheromone issue.
Wait, Jessica or his actual wife?
His wife. He wasn't married to Jessica Rabbit.
I know.
We don't know that he was necessarily married to anyone. Max can have a mom. It doesn't mean that they had to get hitched. To get married, you have to give consent, right,
we have opened up the biggest ass can of worms here.
That's right where I was going, Nick. I don't think he consent to marriage.
We're not.
I don't think he is he's a lifelong bachelor. Lifelong bachelor.
I think we have so much to unpack from the last episode that I don't think we should ever get into ever again.
I agree.
Oh God, I could talk about the goof lore for
we know.
Hours.
We know.
Oh, that was one of my favorite conversations of all time. Anyway, welcome to the New Way.
Of all time, he says. That gives you a little window into Matt's soul, doesn't it?
I don't know. That one really tickled me. That was like one of the funniest conversations to me. I that and the thigh conversation are up there this year. We're really adding some good openings to the show. Yeah, I think.
I listened to it and it made me yuck out loud. Nothing really.
Every time you hear that, I just think about the trivia name.
Yes, that was exactly what I was thinking.
What was it?
Face down, ass up. That's the way Goofy likes to yuck.
Yep.
And he said it every time. Every time. It was so good. Oh, Wilman McAwesome.
Because he knows what the people
That's
want.
how Goofy likes
That's right. And the Want to Touch Hermione. That was another winner on the trivia names for us. Want to thank you for joining us. I want to talk about a couple things ahead of it. First of all, we haven't really talked about the Deadpool. We haven't even amongst ourselves necessarily talked too much about the Deadpool 3 trailer. What do you guys... I know, Nick, it is... You're still holding out hope that maybe it's all smoke and mirrors.
I'm telling you, now my idea would be even better. It would be even better if Marvel shot a bunch of content just for the trailer, and we find out that Hugh Jackman isn't in this movie. I mean, whole press tore. It still plays perfectly into my hands, but I have given up realistic hope that it's never going to happen.
Yeah,
And
it's never gonna
I'm
happen.
I'm comfortable with it because it looks really fun. And I rewatched Deadpool 2, which is only the second time I've ever seen it, the other day. And I remember walking out of the theater thinking that was good, but not as good as the first one. But it definitely was better, and it definitely is funnier than I remember.
It's very
And now
funny. Yeah, it's very
I'm
funny.
pretty pumped up for the third Deadpool now.
I
to be
think that
honest.
the Deadpool movies are tricky things because I agree. Deadpool 2 is just as good as Deadpool 1. It's just it is a lot. It's kind of a barrage. So you're getting all of that stuff, and your inclination is to be like, well, this isn't as good as maybe the other one. But I mean that Matt Damon cameo in the movie is hysterical to me, and the whole
The Brad Pitt cameo.
yeah,
is hysterical,
yeah.
too.
I mean, whatever the Black Ops team that he puts together, all of them dying, is one of the funniest fucking scenes. I mean, it's so good. So yeah, I think it does look. I like that Marvel and Feige are not tethering them in any way it would appear. At least I'm sure they had some rules, which they even joke about in the trailer, of like the cocaine thing, which is a great gag.
There
Well, I mean,
was a lot of cocaine in Deadpool 2. I forgot how much cocaine there was.
I mean, the whole when the whole Deadpool saying like "I'm Marvel Jesus" is so fucking funny, because it's like the only Marvel film coming out this year, and you know it's gonna do fucking gangbusters.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be huge.
Yeah.
And I like what Feige said. It was like, no, we're happy being the underdogs now. Like, okay, we've had a couple of flops in a row, and yeah, just watch what we do the next couple of years. And
and not just a flop, but the biggest flop. It beat John Carter by like $50 million. I read.
We're talking about Ant-Man.
no, we're talking about
Marvels.
the Marvels.
Oh, I really liked that
Yeah,
movie though.
it's
I
actually- I like
liked
that
that
movie, too.
movie. It's a far better movie than Ant-Man.
I don't think that has anything to do whether you liked it or people liked it. It just
Yeah.
straight cold facts. It is the biggest
Yeah, of course.
money loser in the history of cinema, which is wild to me.
And I mean, it's bothersome to me though, and that like first of all, we've talked about it. They need to, and they understand it. They hit saturation. It was too much. This was the tipping point for them. Plus, you've got a bunch of incel assholes that don't want to see women-led movies or minority-led movies or movies led by women minorities in a team gathering together, and they just want to like shit on that stuff. So I hope that the lesson for Marvel is not like, well, don't make a female-led superhero movie, or don't make it with. That's the only thing I don't like about it. I like the end result and that they're going to streamline and make things be choosier about stuff. But I don't want to lose something like the Marvels because I think it's a really, really good flick.
I don't think that's going to happen. You know, with the definition of the word.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I mean,
they cut down their slate, and now they're doing what? 3 movies tops a year and 2 series tops a year.
That's fine.
The
more than
majority of those are going to be male led, but the majority of the Marvel films now are male led. It's just going to be proportionally smaller in terms of output. I don't think we're going to lose it though, because to lose that is to lose, truly the essence of Marvel. Anytime that the one thing about Marvel, I think they really check themselves when there is an absence, right? Even in the comics, they introduce Ms. Marvel, brand new property. They throw all the weight of Marvel behind it. She's a flagship character. It's always going to be important. It was important to Stan. It's important to Feige. I'm not worried about that.
And
The output's going to be well low.
The irony is by metrics, apparently the show Miss Marvel was relatively successful. So
I love Ms. Marvel.
yeah,
I
I liked it a lot too. And so I'm interested in seeing what they do as far as the balancing act there. And also, I would take it back. I mean, the interesting thing is, of course, like you said, you have the incels, you have all that other shit. You look at DC. I mean, what's been DC's most popular film since Nolan? It's Wonder Woman.
I mean,
it's the first one.
kind of took that over.
No, it's the first Wonder Woman.
The first one. Then things went off the rails a little bit.
No, I'm not talking about singular movie.
I agree. I mean, I think that it's going to be interesting. Like the Marvel.
But it really was the best they
Yeah.
had offered up.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, 100%.
And it is better than like absolutely better than the Aquaman movies. I was just being an asshole about it because those movies were popular because they're meat and fucking movies. But
do you take personally the first Wonder Woman or James Gunn's Suicide Squad?
First Wonder Woman. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
I love Gunn's Suicide Squad, but it's a completely different beast. It's a Saturday morning cartoon.
I laughed a lot at Gunn's Suicide Squad, but there's no question that Wonder Woman's the best thing that that DC has done, really since the Dark Knight. And I'm not even like the hugest Dark Knight apologist.
Okay.
So,
That's
Birds of Prey was pretty good.
Oh, I like Birds of Prey a lot.
That gets a real bad rap.
Birds of Prey was really fun.
That was really good.
Yeah, that was. Really
I mean,
good.
I watched
That's
it
a good
during.
point.
That was a COVID watch. Like it was.
That was an airplane watch for me.
Yeah.
But I liked it.
It was good. I dug that one too. Yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with all of these, but I agree. I think hopefully we're on right track with Marvels and Deadpool looks great. Nick, you had brought up a topic, and this, more and more has come out of this, and I would love to get into this for just a minute with you and discuss. So recently, a movie launched with a massive ad campaign and way too many public appearances by the writer, director, and star of the movie, who has ruffled some feathers in things that they say and seems to be kind of really showing true colors. But this Pop-Tarts movie came out. By all accounts, it is unwatchably terrible. Like just an awful schlocky movie. But Seinfeld has used the publicity tour to legitimately just like fucking say whatever pops into his head. And I was kind of interested in this because Seinfeld's always been, I don't feel that there's a change in Seinfeld. He doesn't have the luxury of Larry David, who made a character to be the worst incarnation of himself so that no matter what, he's always going to be better than the character. Jerry Seinfeld is much more like the character that Larry David is playing in Curb Your Enthusiasm in real life. And he's very Aspergery. Like he talk about somebody that does not pick up on social cues or understanding things. But one of the things he did this weekend is he was on the David Spade and
well, it's the game. It's the game you can play, right? Is it Asperger's or is he just very rich? Does he have
both.
Does he have fuck you money and he's so out of touch that he literally just speaks what's on his mind and doesn't have any concept what a different stratosphere he's in.
Is it Asperger's or asshole who likes burgers?
Exactly.
It is both. I mean, I love comedians in cars getting coffee, but he's a fucking dick on that show. Like, he's just.
Well, I mean, think about it. Think about it, right? He's a billionaire now.
Yeah.
And he still does stand up, and the stand up is so bad now because his brand was, I'm just a normal guy. What's the deal with this? You deal with this as well, right? What's going on? Now it's I'm rich and I gotta manufacture something.
How come my garbage always weighs twice as much as my groceries? And then the vampire can't see himself in the mirror. How come his hair is always perfectly combed? I want to know.
I sensed a little goof in your Seinfeld impersonation, Nick.
I'm not going to derail this back into goofy.
Oh, it's so good.
But the thing about Jerry, and you brought this up a little bit too, Matt, right? This isn't the case with everything, but it seems like, the people who market themselves as the assholes, and that's their brand, are actually a nice guy behind the scene.
Yeah, David Tell.
The guys who market themselves as the nice guys are kind of the asshole. And, more often than not, that rule kind of tends to prove itself correct. Not all the time, but I think this is another case of that. If we really go back and look at Seinfeld and look at, Jerry was, when we were watching the show, he's a good guy. Whatever.
Was he?
Normal everyday man.
I don't know.
But was he?
No.
But was he?
No, not at all.
Well, now in retrospect, yes. He is a different woman every episode. He makes highly questionable decisions. He only cares about himself. We laughed at it then. When we watch it again, after some of the things that he said in public as a civilian, you start to think, I wonder. And also, in his personal life, literally dating a 17-year-old. He would pick her up from high school.
That one doesn't go great.
And And so when he goes to the press junket now, he says, "Oh, you can't tell jokes anymore. The woke PC crowd, is ruining everything. I can't tell my edgy airplane jokes
my
anymore."
edgy non-swearing. I famously don't swear in my routines.
And really, all that is he's just still mad at the woke PC crowd for gently pushing back on his high school girlfriend, and he's taken it to 2024 now. But of course he'll say these things after taping a Netflix special in an opera house that told 5,000 people, and his opening joke is how he can't make jokes anymore, and he makes a movie about Pop-Tarts because
he's got the money to do it.
The things he has to say now.
I love that he's doing a movie that he goes, I really wanted to play up the Mad Men parody. And I'm like, well, that's topical. Let's just pick a TV show that ended 7-8 years ago and was about the 50s. Like,
longer
Jesus
than that.
Christ.
God damn it.
He is true. And the word hack gets thrown around, I think, really loosely. But I think in every sense of the word, he is becoming what a hack is these days. Riding a name and a success, burning minimal calories. I mean, think about how much money he made just simply taking one of the cars out of his driveway, picking up one of his famous friends who owes him a favor, and not scripting a show, and just having a GoPro. Put up a GoPro in your Shelby Cobra, get coffee, and you're wrapped by 5 p.m. every day.
Yeah. Barack Obama definitely owed him a favor.
So what's really
it goes
funny,
both ways sometimes, I guess.
So you hit on something really interesting, because this is where it hit the zenith for me, and I was fascinated by it. So he was on Dana Carvey and David Spade's podcast, and I don't know if you guys followed this at all, but he went after somebody who's a friend of his, and it's literally kind of what you're talking about, Nick. He went after Stern, and he basically was just like, he goes, Stern isn't anything anymore. What you guys are doing is 1,000 times funnier than, like, his stuff is all. He literally, like, projected everything you just said about him onto somebody like Stern, and they're fucking friends. Like, they party in the Hamptons with their rich fucking families out there. And I was like, dude, like, that's a level of burning everything to the ground, because he's mainly pissed that his show is getting shit on. Like, his movie is getting shit on by everybody. Like, it is universally shitty, and now he's got to backtrack and make excuses, and it's the people and not the material. And
and the thing is, the people that agreed to be co-stars or cameo in that film were only there because of Jerry. It is Jerry. Jerry is the reason the movie got made. Jerry is the movie that it exists. To blame anybody else is hacky. And man, I meant to have this prepared and I forgot. But fuck, I told him, just realizing I was supposed to get you a drop. But Rob McElhenney from
yes, you were telling me
Always
something
Sunny
about
in Philadelphia. Yeah, I really meant to have this prepared. Maybe I will find it and send it to you like the goofy AI song, and you'll play it at the end of this episode. But he really encapsulates it so well, and now I gotta try to recall it.
God,
from memory, but
you know what's so funny? I saw a clip of something of him addressing something about it, but the way you put it in the text, Nick, made me really concerned. No, it made me concerned that he said something fucking tone deaf, and I was so worried that I didn't want to Google it. I literally, you said it, and I was like, fucking I can't have this.
In the text thread when we were discussing this topic, I said, "Don't Google Rob McElhenney."
I know, because to me that says Bob McElhenney said something fucking terrible.
No, I said that because I wanted to surprise you with the clip on the
fucking
podcast, and then I forgot. Then I forgot to get the clip.
That's someone I've watched just grow and evolve and take the right path on shit, and I was like,
but see,
that's say something shitty.
That's exactly it. This is an example of a guy who has done a lot of off-color. Some people have said racist, derogatory, cross-the-line comedy.
Sure,
but he talks about Seinfeld, and he hit back with Seinfeld immediately. I think Seinfeld said something about you could never do a show now where you round up homeless people to run rickshaws around the city, and I think he did that in an episode. Yeah. It's always funny, and he just replied with, Probably. But the thing about It's Always Sunny and Rob McElhenney is number one. You're right. The humor has evolved. You know, and a different comic said this once. Yeah, there are two words that I can't use in my repertoire anymore. But other than that, my comedy doesn't change.
Yeah.
It's a difference between being racist or homophobic or all these horrible things. But there's a joke making fun of the people who still hold those horrible views, right? And that's what the humor in It's Always Sunny was always directed towards. And he said, we've been friends for decades. The audience intuitively knew with their reptile brain that these aren't who we are. This isn't us making a statement. We're making fun of the people that make these statements. And they intuitively know. And like that to me with Seinfeld, when he says you can't make jokes anymore, the PC crowd will judge you.
You can make whatever joke you want to nowadays.
It's just got to be funny, and it's got to have merit.
Right.
It's got to be funny,
but also
it has to have context. It has to have context.
But not only that, is all it really has to do is pass the smell test. To me, him saying a statement like "I can't make jokes anymore" is such a tell. Especially looking back at some of the things that he was willing to do in public.
Sure. The guy who doesn't curse says I can't tell jokes anymore.
Well, it's a tell because, like Rob McElhenney will say, our fans never thought we were actually racist because, in a way, the reptile brain, you know, there isn't something going off in the back of your head saying, whoa, wait a minute. And this goes for Trey Parker and Matt Stone too. It's because the comedy is so it's so expertly crafted. And you don't ever believe that the people behind the microphone actually feel that way, and are good jokes. There are some people, like if Brad Garrett had made jokes about black people, maybe we'd go, something about that felt a little off. And then years later, there's some people that just pass the smell test, and others do not. I think that we can give ourselves credit as an audience that could kind of intuitively, with a reptile brain, if something feels off, maybe where there's smoke, there's fire. And to me, the Jerry Seinfeld statement of "you can't make it jokes anymore" is such a tell, because he knows if he said something, people would call him out on it, and it wouldn't feel like It's Always Sunny. It wouldn't feel like harmless. There would be some venom behind it.
Nick, here's where I'll agree with you. Joey Diaz can say whatever the fuck he wants to. Anywhere he wants to, and no one's going to judge him for it, because he's Joey Diaz. That guy passes the smell test. He's a straight-up comedian. I don't believe, the guy may be racist, I'm not sure, but he can say whatever he wants to, because he's always been the same guy his entire life. He's had the same bit. And he's never proclaimed himself to be anything better than what he was, which is just a schmuck. It's like I'm a schmuck from New York, and I say funny things. That's it. All of those comedians are fine nowadays. They can still continue their bit. Like Joey Diaz is not going to get canceled on for being on Pete Holmes' show and saying something controversial on a podcast. It's just not going to happen.
Well, very few openly racist comedians make a living doing racist comedy.
Right.
You know what
exactly.
I mean? And like the people that made those edgy jokes are the people who are comfortable in the fact that they're not racist. They can make those jokes. Mel Brooks, you look back at Blazing Saddles, it's that confidence. It's a confidence in your own heart and a confidence in your audience to know that's your intentions.
Exactly.
Right?
It's
the people that fear how those jokes are going to. In a sense, to me, it's
Seinfeld,
like
Michael Richards.
They know people will see through it. It's a confidence level. In a lot of ways, you can flip it. People who are secure in their masculinity can put on a dress and play with their daughter, and not worry about how that's going to be construed. And in a way, when you put jokes in that context, it kind of fits too.
Well, in the ones that are going to continue to, I think very much there's an evolution that's part of it. There is an evolving, and not everyone has to evolve their act or their material. Seinfeld, it realizes that what's funny is that he's still going to do the same material he's always done. Nothing's changed from that. What is changing is that his audience isn't interested in his material. That's why he thinks he can't. Like, he's like, oh, I can't do anything in PC culture. No, you can't make those people laugh because your material is no longer relevant or funny to them. And you don't swear. You're the least controversial comedian that has ever existed since, dare I say, Bill Cosby. And that's such a funny, like, weird thing like, what you're lashing out at is that people don't like the thing you're doing. They don't like the movie that just came out. They don't like the people are going, they're not laughing as hard. It's right, because his whole thing started with college campuses. That was his first crusade, like 12, 15 years ago, was I don't do college campuses anymore because it's too PC. No, you don't do college campuses. They don't fucking laugh. They don't know who you are. Larry David could fucking kill at a college campus. You can't.
He's a hack.
Yeah. He has become a hack.
He is a hack now. Yeah, he absolutely is. And you look, there are plenty of comics that, on paper should be quote unquote canceled. Bill Burr, but these people who are actually funny, and your reptile brain never for a moment believes that they are,
I do need to pause, by the way. So we do need to, just for a quick break, this episode is being sponsored by Reptile Brain Energy Drinks. Nick's gotten that reference out there 3 or 4 times there. So thank you, Nick, for making sure to get that sponsor out there. But
that was specifically mentioned by Rob McElhenney in the aforementioned clip. I didn't provide
Reptile Brain Energy Drinks and erectile dysfunction pills.
And Wrexham FC.
Thanks so much.
Tickets on sale.
Thanks so much, Reptile. Anyway,
for our fans in Wales.
As we return to our podcast, talking about stand-up comedy.
No, I just thought
PC culture and stand-up comedy.
This was kind of interesting. We have covered the PC movement and a lot of this stuff as well, but I thought Seinfeld has just been so outspoken this week and is funny. So,
and again, I still just feel like nobody gets canceled. That you're either a master of your craft and you push the envelope in a funny, intelligent, challenging way. I mean, we have to start giving ourselves more credit. The court of popular opinion is ultimately what decides whether somebody works again in the industry or not, or suffers a consequence of a joke or not. And you could say the same joke in a different way. You could burn the calories and make it more thoughtful and more provoking. You could craft it better, and you're not going to get the same backlash. It's a lot of times you could chalk it up to being lazy.
I'll say also, I mean, the Netflix just had great ratings with their Tom Brady roast, and you want to talk about people saying the most depraved possible things you could imagine. It absolutely does that. That medium is still alive and well.
Well, the roast, it was baked in to a roast, and the reason why roasts work, the reason why you could say the absolute worst fucking possible things you could think of about someone, that at the end of the day, the roast exists because the people there love or respect the person in the chair. And
I think that used to be. I think now at this point it's become a showcase. I'm okay with that. By the way,
when you invite Ann Coulter, yes, that rule goes out the window a bit. But for the most part, that's the understanding, right? But back in the classic days of the Dino roast, they really were like fucking brothers.
I still love Peyton Manning's joke at Ann Coulter's expense, though. I mean, that's awesome.
No, it's what's interesting with the roast. I think the last roast for me that felt like the old school ones was the Franco roast, because it was all of those people that knew him, and it was Nick Kroll and Andy Samberg and Rogan and stuff. Versus now,
that's the best way to do it. Tom Brady. None of these people met Tom Brady before that night.
But it was fucking funny. Like I'll be the first to say, like there was some really fucking good material on there, and some people also took their shot with it, which I love as well. Like I'm okay with it. I think it's just two different kind of things.
Was the Franco roast the one where Andy Samberg did like the reverse roast?
Yeah, he did the anti-comedy thing. I love that. And just it was one of the funniest fucking things ever.
It's like, Ain't you a passive aggressive sweetheart, Jonah?
It's like
I really want.
But you know what though?
But
you know what
Jonah
though?
Hill come into a bar. They're here to pick me up because I have a drinking problem. And they're really good friends.
But to tie this back up to the other points from Seinfeld, right? The jokes that really bomb at a roast are the ones that feel uncomfortable, that feel like there's more truth than joking. There's an insincerity with the person delivering the joke and their relationship to the person. It's that doubt of, are they joking? That a lot of times is a big reason why a joke will fall flat in a roast. And again, it just comes back to the intention, the intentionality behind it. People can tell when there's even just a modicum of respect or love for the person they're roasting. You can get away with a lot. And if you don't sense it, that reptile brain.
Again, thank you again to our
Energy
sponsor,
drink.
Reptile Drink, Energy Drink, and Erectile Dysfunction Pills.
By the way, speaking of comedy, this week has been the Netflix as a joke week here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And I will be attending 2 shows back to back, Saturday and Sunday.
What shows?
I'm seeing my 2 favorite working comedians in the world.
Patton?
Any guesses?
Mulaney?
I'm seeing.
Tim Robinson. Tim Robinson. Yeah.
I'm seeing. I think you should leave live at the Greek, and then I'm seeing Taylor Tomlinson at the Palladium.
Nice, Taylor.
I saw
very excited.
There was a great. I don't know if I sent it to you or not, Nick, but there was a great some interview. I don't even know what it was, but they're talking to Conan O'Brien, and they're like, "What are like things that you like?" And he's like, "I really love Tim Robinson stuff." He goes, "In fact, I wake up in the middle of the night sometimes, and I'm writing sketches for Tim Robinson in the mode of what that show is because I just want to see him do them, and it's so good."
I also
amazing.
blew through the Conan Must Go.
I'm waiting. I know I'm gonna fucking love the hell out of it. I was gonna. I'll probably make you watch some more when you're in town next week. But
it's great.
Let's move on to our topic, lest we run out of time.
Hey, what's everyone drinking?
Oh, I'm drinking what you brought.
Well,
for
of course.
Me. So Ben brought me a Burial Brewery in collaboration with Resident Culture Brewing Company. This is called Psychic Sorcery Dry Hopped American Pale Ale out of Asheville, North Carolina.
I'm drinking.
I've been there.
Yep. Well, you've been to the one in Raleigh.
All right.
What about you, Benny?
In Between Bouts of Rapture, triple India Pale Ale from Burial Brewing
In Between
Asheville.
Bouts of Rapture.
In Between Bouts of Rapture, yeah.
That's a leftovers beer.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying a Beach Plum La Croix.
Yeah.
Oh, I also have the Strawberry Sunrise Bubbly, which
what's the
strawberry.
verdict?
I'm stealing one. I'm stealing one of those. I'm taking it home.
So I like it.
We're gonna beta test it.
I think. So the Strawberry Bubbly is fantastic, and the strawberry profile in that is amazing. I taste mostly the strawberry profile in this. I don't know that I'm picking up the pineapple or the kiwi in here. I like it, but I feel like it is still just strawberry.
It's not tropical enough for your
I'm not
liking.
getting that fruit punchy finish that I kind of wanted, just that strawberry with a little high C on the end.
It doesn't taste like snozzberries.
No.
Okay. All right.
It's very good. It's good, but it's not. It's mostly strawberry.
I like the audible gulp there. You're just like,
That's how we get paid, Ben. We also, of course, all of us are all drinking Lizard Brain.
No, Lizard Brain energy drink on the
definitely,
side.
we all have that on the side here. So
Lizard Brain sounds like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles villain that never was in the show but was an action figure.
It's very true. That works. So our topic tonight is brought to us by none other than Mrs. Wilson herself, Beth. So Ben, do you want to talk about the genesis of this topic with you and your wife?
Well, she mentioned it multiple times that we. Well, so here's the thing. I will watch a movie.
It's hardcore pornography. Is our topic.
I will watch a movie or show with my wife, and there are times where I'll hear her groan, and I'll be like, "What?" And she'll be like, "Oh," just like. It's things like where it's a shot reverse shot, where their hair is one way, and then it goes back to the next shot, and their hair is another way.
Continuity errors.
Continuity errors.
The script supervisor fell asleep that day.
Right, exactly. And I have had to kind of hop in at times and say, most people don't notice these things. And a lot of time the director is trying to do this for performance. You're elongating moments or you're trying to shorten moments. So, yes, if you look at the body posture and the way that the other person is talking, who's in the foreground of the shot, they start talking way before it cuts back to them. Yeah, I mean, you know it. If you're looking for it.
How did she react to that blatant mansplaining?
Well, he said
Well,
calm
that was-
down first, so that went over well.
I said, listen, bitch, this is the way it's done.
See, we can. there's
So
no
I'm the-
PC
so
there's
I'm
no
the
PC
force.
anymore.
That
Yeah.
that stormtrooper meant to hit his head on the door.
I like what was so
No,
funny when we were discussing this because it was plot. There were three things kind of being discussed. One was continuity errors. One was plot holes,
Yeah.
and then one was like I had kind of which I one of my favorites is pet peeves, like things that happen all the time in TV shows that especially TV, more so in TV than in movies.
Or there's some things that are pet peeves that other people love.
Yes.
Which is like one of the things that Beth loves, which is like when they say the title of the show or movie in the dialogue. Like, it's not today, it's the day after tomorrow. You know, like or one of those types of
I
things.
that was your example.
I don't think they say that in that movie, but that was a good
They don't.
example.
Something I was watching very recently. I don't remember what the hell it was. Absolutely had like a really hard, blatant title drop in there, and it.
My favorite one is actually The Perfect Storm, where it's Chris McDonald and the weather center. He's like, if this weather pattern collides with this weather pattern, it will be the perfect storm. And it like cuts to George Clooney on the boat as he says it. I'm like, oh my God.
They said Oppenheimer like 15 times.
Oh yeah, of course.
Well, it's like Hamilton too. They really just
talk
dropped that shit.
about another hack.
You know what I think it might be actually was I think it might have been in Nancy's play. She's doing a Pinter play called Betrayal, and I think they dropped the word betrayal in there, and I was like, oh,
We're seeing
no,
that. We're
that's the
seeing.
thing.
We're seeing that in 2 days.
Nice. It's good. It's very good. But yeah, I think Pinter drops a little self-title. So we wanted to kind of talk about all of these things, which are basically this is where we get to be the assholes and go, well, can you believe that they did this in this movie? Because we recognize it and we're much better than them. That's at least the assignment I took home is that this is our armchair quarterbacking of famous movies and TV shows.
And that's what I was going to qualify at first because you guys are welcome to point out continuity errors. I love the fact that like we have Stella Comedy and David Wayne, all those guys that do those on purpose in all their movies.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you know, it's a shot reverse shot where they're knitting something and it's like one thread and it cuts back to them and they have a full thread. Or somebody has short hair and it cuts back and they have long hair. Because this happens in movies all the time, and if you're not looking for it, you may not realize it.
Well, unless they're really egregious. Like I remember
of course.
the first big one that I knew about when I was a kid was Pretty Woman. And there's the scene where they're having breakfast, and she's literally, the food is like changing shot to shot from like a pancake to like an omelet to like a melon, like, and all in the same thing. And it's just like, where is she getting all this food? It's amazing.
Well, I can tell you the exact moment Game of Thrones started going downhill from that Starbucks cup showed up.
This is true. That's becoming
The
more
exact moment.
popular too. Of mistake. Those I feel bad about those ones because that's usually just a bad crew member that's overworked
Dude.
and not catching some shit.
in the Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring, there's a UPS truck in the background of one of the shots. I mean, I'm not fucking kidding you.
Well,
we
you
don't
it's
know that
funny you
they
mentioned-
didn't have UPS in Middle Earth. Right.
I mean, we kind of do that.
I do. By the way, I very much welcome in this discussion defending of plot holes. I have no problem with that. I'd love to hear.
Well,
that.
no. I was just
Ben
trying to
mentioned-
get. I was trying to get continuity errors out of the way because there are some egregious ones, but and you guys are welcome to mention whatever you want to. But most of the time, the reason why those happen is because the editor and or the director are trying to cut from performance, which is usually, if you're paying attention to the performance, it's actually good. You shouldn't even notice.
I will say there's a huge one that has nothing to do with performance, but it drives me fucking crazy. And it is in Jurassic Park, and it is the T-Rex paddock has a giant fucking cliff.
Oh, the cliff. No, of course, that is
and
awful.
10 seconds before that, the T-Rex goes bloop, 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 and walks over the fence on flat ground.
And then they jump over it, and there's a giant cliff.
And then there's a giant cliff. That one drives me crazy.
Literally, look.
I think plot holes were just a ploy by IMDb to pad their trivia section.
Matt.
No, there's a continuity section.
Number one, Jurassic Park cliff.
Yeah, I have Jurassic Park for almost all of the things that we talk about in this episode. I have Jurassic Park on my list. It's one of the sloppiest movies.
But is that more of a plot hole? Because I mean, that's almost so large it is a plot hole.
That to me is, I don't know. It's both. It's such a fucking just like it's bad direction. Mr. Spielberg.
But now
so sorry.
But now there's a cliff there.
Yeah, I mean, he wanted that set piece. It falls under your thing of kind of how you're looking at continuity to say it was about performance. He wanted a set piece and had this whole thing thought up, and he couldn't do both the shots that he wanted to do in that same thing, so he just made it. Maybe they could have had like another side. I don't know, but whatever.
That I'm Spielberg, goddammit.
Spielberg goes, no one's gonna fucking know what I'm doing. I'm goddamn Steven Spielberg.
And Ben mentioned filmmakers like David Wayne like using these popular continuity errors as gags or intentionally. I'm sure I brought it up before because it's Alexander Payne and it's election, but there's a non-comedy example of an intentional continuity error in the first 2 minutes of the film. We see Mr. McAllister running around in circles, and that kind of is symbolic of his life choices, just starting the year over again, teaching the same thing over and over again, never going anywhere in his life. And Tracy Flick is associated with the straight line. So the first time we see her, she's quickly pulling out the legs of the fold-out chair, but there are 5 legs she pulls out. It was just Alexander Payne just wanted one more leg to just drive home that straight line from point A to point B motif with Tracy Flick, and it's something that you're not supposed to notice. You're just supposed to kind of subconsciously clock. Obviously, there's a lot less examples of those. If there's a mistake like that, it normally just fell through the cracks, But I think that it's
or they were
interesting
timing
that you can,
for something, yeah.
Yeah. I think it is interesting. There are a few out there that are either played for comedic effect or otherwise. Sometimes they're intentional.
I mean, I think that Lynch has a few for sure where he's intentionally trying to draw the viewer to something that's not actually happening or not actually there.
Yeah. He did that. There's and I always mean to track it down. I can never quite find it, but he did that in an episode of Twin Peaks, and it fucked with my brain, my 6th grade brain, so hard. And it was literally just a shot. It's like a shot in the police station, and it's a deer on the wall, and then he does a bad jump cut of the angle, so it's not where it's not like it's like a medium to a medium, but just like off turn. And I was like, did anyone else see that? It made me so unnerved, and my mom's like, no, you're imagining it. This is back before we're not streaming shit, so that episode aired, and I was like, I swear to God, this deer moved in this shot just on the camera angle on there. And I think that's a Lynchy thing, and Nick's gonna try to prove me wrong right now. He's Googling.
No,
I'm not. No, don't worry. Don't worry about it.
One of my favorites from a plot standpoint, because it's such a big part of the plot, and this comes up on everybody's list, but I do love the Karate Kid.
No face shots?
No kicks to the face. And he's like, got it. I'm going to win by kicking you in the fucking face. It's so egregious. And I watched that movie for years before I ever I never thought about it. And they say it so often. And you're like, you have to be dumb. And I was just dumb. And I'm like, no, this is great. He won. He beat the bully by making the most illegal maneuver of all time. It's amazing.
When Jabba was putting Han Solo in carbonite, wasn't he handcuffed? But like the famous thing is him like with his hands up trying to escape, but I'm pretty sure he was led into that thing handcuffed.
His hands were behind his back or something?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Behind
But,
his back.
here's the thing. Like,
Well, Luke has got his hands behind his back because he does that weird fucking Jedi leap out.
But when he comes up, I mean, he comes up in Empire with his hands out. So I don't know.
He does what?
All right.
Up? Okay, sorry. I know. Yeah, when Luke comes flopping out of that thing, he's got his hands behind his back. But I don't know. That sounds right to me. But I don't know. Who knows?
Where's Patrick when you need him?
Let's get him on. I tried to get him on the podcast tonight. He declined. Ben, tell me how do you feel about the much discussed Lord of the Rings Eagle plot hole? What are your thoughts on? Do you have a head canon for you that allows you to talk your way around this one?
Okay, so
I'm so sorry.
the Eagles are not really supposed to be called or allowed to be called by anyone. They're supposed to run by their own thing. So I think that the idea that the Eagles show up at the end of Lord of the Rings is basically like, okay, this is nature correcting itself.
And for those of you out there that maybe don't know.
They answer to no one.
Okay.
Essentially, the Eagles didn't. It's not like it was just...
Except that one time with Gandalf.
Which was one eagle. Yes, it was one eagle. It was him calling in the favor. Yeah.
All right, well, I don't know. It feels like... I don't know. It kind of feels like Christy Gnome justifying dog care.
Whoa, wait a minute. No, come on.
I just wanted to shoehorn that joke in, obviously.
I was sitting there trying to figure out, do I make a Philadelphia Eagles joke or the band the Eagles joke, and then I couldn't choose.
I was thinking like a Danzig where Eagles dare. I tried to work that one in too. I couldn't pull it together.
That plot hole never really super bothered me, but I know that it is one that people get kind of up in arms about.
Or if it weren't eagles, like, I mean, aren't there any other creatures that fly that could help out with this at all? No?
Nothing get that close to Mordor, no.
Yeah, Nick.
Eagles are powerful.
Yeah, Nick.
You don't simply fly into Mordor.
One does
No.
not.
What does not simply fly to Mordor?
How do you all feel? This one is one that has bothered me for many, many, many years. How do you feel about Luke Skywalker being, quote unquote, hidden on his dad's home planet with his full actual name right next to the guy that was responsible for his dad's getting all fucked up and becoming Darth Vader, just hanging out as Ben Kenobi, the worst, like, hey, why don't you hide yourself? Well, my name is Obi-Wan Kenobi. How about you call yourself Ben Kenobi? No one will fucking figure that out. I know.
I mean, you get the impression he wanted to be found and he's just playing coy. I think he wanted one last chance to set things right. That's why when he gives himself up, it's like, okay, yeah. I did what I needed to do.
Fucking Luke Skywalker bebeing called Luke Skywalker is fucking. It drives me. I can't. My head just can't wrap.
Better than Rey Skywalker, am I right?
None of that actually really bothers me. The thing that bothers me is that Obi-Wan Kenobi doesn't recognize C-3PO and R2-D2.
Yeah.
Vader doesn't recognize the droid he built and his fucking astromech. like that. Yeah, that's another one. Like if there should be if Lucas is going to use all of his money to do anything, it's going to be the beginning of New Hope and Vader seeing the two of them be like, shit, R2 and C-3PO, holy fuck, what are you guys doing here? This is amazing. I would.
Well, it's also like Danny kind of forgot about the Golden Army interview with Benioff and Weiss. It's also Lucas going like, I wanted to make another movie. All right, I wanted to make some prequels. All right, you forgot.
Do you have connect other dots? Nick? Do you have one that bothers you more than others? One that like sticks in your craw, as they say.
No, I always remember like that type of thing as being like the equivalent of watching watching a sketch blow up on SNL because everyone's laughing. It's like you move on. It's kind of amusing, and then it doesn't affect my enjoyment at all.
I have one.
Oh, okay.
When the movie I mostly enjoy until the last 10 minutes, actually.
Looper?
No, Signs.
Oh, yeah, I have that one too.
Yeah.
An alien invasion where they don't realize that literally like 74% of the planet's made of water. And like everything's made of water. And they're fucking allergic to water. Like,
And
how?
They're not just allergic
How?
to it. It is like acid.
How?
Or like in the finale scene, the aliens holding your son about to kill him, and you have a baseball bat mounted behind you on the wall, but you need an acid flashback of your dying wife to realize you should grab that bat and attack the alien with it, who has your only son in his clutches.
I will also count.
Swing away, Mel.
I will also count as plot holes in that having M. Night Shyamalan deliver a monologue, because that's awful. And also, but I will give it slight bonus points for Michael Showalter's ridiculous performance in that movie, because it's so fucking funny.
By the way, if you close your eyes and listen to the M. Night Shyamalan cameos, it's a more subdued John Lovitz. You can never unhear it.
Love it. I will.
Wow.
I've got to hear this.
You can never unhear it.
I can't wait.
But the irony is, I actually like Signs as a movie.
Me too.
Until it gets to that last little bit, and then it's so
Well,
dumb.
it's got a great premise. It's got one of the best jump scares in film. It has a lot going for it. It's just so
the one in the cornfield when he picks up the light.
No,
Is that right?
the video where
Oh, the
they're
video.
watching
You're talking about
the Brazil video. I don't love the Brazil video one because I think it looks like my disappointment in that movie was the humanoid aliens, and it just looks like some guy on to me when you get to that shot, because it's on the camcorder, it looks like the actor playing the alien in the movie was caught like going to have a smoke and like a coffee offset, and it was just like, oh shit, are we shooting?
It was
like,
CG.
I know,
But see,
it looks
honestly,
like it.
why it didn't work for you, it worked for me. If you're not expecting to be scared by it, and you know it's coming, and yet,
and Joaquin
I think it's
Phoenix's
editing,
reaction fucking kills
the pacing.
Like,
yeah. Joaquin sells it. There's a lot about it that like you're not expecting. You're not expecting that to be scary.
Yeah.
And it is.
I love almost all the scares in the first. I mean, the part where the dog starts barking at the kids, and there's that shot over the shoulder where he's like, "What's wrong, boy?" And it's Culkin. It's Rory Culkin, and then it cuts away, and then you hear the sound, and he runs out, and the dog is dead.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wow, like that's.
He does a bunch of those in that movie of they're going like past the mantle, and you're hearing all of the shit going on.
Yeah. I mean,
it is his best
it's
Hitchcock
really,
aping that he does.
Really
in his
well
career.
done. It's a really well made movie, and then it gets to the end and it just gets stupid. But they're all. I mean, there are lots of plot holes in that movie, but yeah, I mean, an advanced alien race invading a planet that's entirely water when you're allergic to water. That's not good.
It's
not a good move.
I don't know why it makes me laugh to say allergic, but it is like acid. It's corrosive. It's not just allergic. Like I'm allergic to like
acid.
it's boiling acid.
Hey guys, so we have to talk about time travel though.
Oh, Ben, are we gonna do this?
We have to.
Is this Back to the Future?
Well,
yeah, we have to talk about Back to the
I
Future.
do. Someone pointed out online what I really love is they were specifically angry at Looper because they go Looper uses two different types of time travel logic in the same movie and it fucks up both of them. And they're like every movie's fucked by time travel logic no matter what,
except for one.
But it needs
except for one.
But they need to follow the rules. If they follow their own rules, you can kind of, follow through it. But they're like, Looper just fucks everything. Like it takes all of it. And it's like, fuck all of it. This is so dumb. So all right, Ben.
I think people in Back to the Future, it's not so much. I mean, 'cause I think that with time travel, you have to take it with a certain grain of salt. It doesn't bug me. It doesn't have to be perfect science. That stuff doesn't bother me. The stuff that bothers me is like Marty's band is playing a Huey Lewis song, and then Huey Lewis tells him it's too loud, and he doesn't like go, "Holy shit!"
But that's not.
We're playing your song.
It's not Huey Lewis in the movie.
But it is Huey Lewis. It's someone that looks exactly like
All
Huey
right,
Lewis.
Nick.
Okay. Then, by that same logic, Lorraine doesn't remember Marty when he comes.
That's the big one.
That's the big one.
Like you would know, like
You would know.
You remember the person who was like instrumental in getting your fucking life together.
I am so sorry. If you want to go back to my senior year to some random person I met for 1 week and think I'm going to fucking recognize them in the future, you are smoking.
Don't you
shit.
have face
the person who was
blindness?
responsible for getting you and your wife together?
All right, in fairness,
You and your fake wife?
I do.
You have face blindness,
blindness, but like honestly, think about someone. Think about someone you randomly met for 1 week of your senior year life.
Matt, who introduced you to you and your sex doll?
Wait, what? think about that person you knew for 1 week that you lost your virginity to, and tell me you would recognize them in a lineup today.
Absolutely.
No.
If they were not only instrumental in you getting together with the love of your life, you're still married to years later with 3 kids, but also got on stage and played the most mind-melting rock and roll song you've ever heard. You're not going to remember that guy?
It's 1 week. Do you know who I think they should recognize?
Yes, man.
And then every time you went into a department store and saw Calvin Klein, you'd be reminded of him.
So I was just going to say that bothers me much more than them not recognizing him. But
because you have face blindness.
Do you know what bothers me more? Because face blindness doesn't fix this one. None of them fucking knows that Doc Brown is still a part of their life later on in this shit and is now hanging out with their kid. He was more instrumental in their shit. That they would be like, oh yeah, you're Doc Brown, you were there. That would cue me more to be like, oh, I remember you hung out with that guy.
But they never knew Doc Brown.
No,
Marty.
No.
She meets him at the house. She comes in there. Lorraine does.
No, but that's in the revised history.
One time.
No, that's in the revised history. So when they go back in the future,
no, she comes into when he's got the model and it blows on fire. She shows up at Doc's house.
But when he goes back to the future, that's the new future. And
you said the name of the movie.
So there's never any mention of Doc Brown in that portion of it. So that makes sense.
I mean, they
do
give him a look in Back to the Future at the end of it. They do look at him. There's a moment there. I don't think we see all of this, but I see a moment. Also, all right, let's go by your logic that they should recognize this guy. At what point as he is growing up, do they go, what the fuck is going on? Our fucking son looks like that guy that got us together, and their whole world implodes. That is the Ben. That is the fucking truth.
I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy, Ben. Ben threw down his headphones. He walked out of the studio. He's gone.
He's
Who
gone.
knows if he's coming back?
We did lose him. I don't think he's coming back.
Unbelievable.
Well, he did leave his phone, so maybe he might be coming back. But I do think.
And look, the biggest loophole is they never go back to the future. They go to the future once.
No, he's got to go back to his future. Doc is sending. He says it in the movie. We've got to send you back to the future.
That's back to the present.
Not to Doc. It's Doc's goddamn future. How dare you, Nick?
It's both of their futures. It's both of their futures.
No, one of them hasn't lived it yet. The other one. No, it's Marty's present. It's Doc's future.
So is that like a? I always wondered, does something fundamentally change with Doc Brown? Is he a different person?
It's a different timeline. Of course, he's a different person.
He figured, what the hell? Yeah, he lives in the other one.
So I always, and this is the stuff where Rick and Morty initially really grabbed me, got his hooks in me. It's just the fucked up nature of time travel. How it's so easy breezy and you save the day, but the psychological toll it would take. Imagine the Doc Brown realizing all that, and then you would not be the same Doc Brown By the time you get back to
No, of course not.
Lone Pine Mall with your bulletproof vest,
And there is
you're a completely changed, hardened man.
There is a quote-unquote plot hole that has been explained away by people that is very famous in Back to the Future lore, which is in Back to the Future 2, when Doc saves Marty.
Oh, it's Biff.
When Marty is in the tunnel running, being chased by Biff, and Doc gets him on the hoverboard and lifts him up. He's got the flags that are hanging down from it, and he
from the
lifts
used
him
car
up,
dealership.
that he saves him for, and everyone goes, "Do you think this is the first time, or do you think Doc fucking watched Marty die die 100 times, and this was like the 101th time that he fucking got it right?" And like that. So I think there's a version of Doc that's seen some fucking shit. That's why at the end of it, he's like, "I'm getting on a fucking train with my hot ass wife and my weird fucking Amish children, and I'm fucking off."
So let's just say it right now. Time travel movies.
Bullshit.
It's all plot holes. I mean,
Yes.
they're just rife with plot holes. They're going to be, unless it's Primer, because
Now,
Primer's perfect.
I do have. I'm going to bring up a movie, and I know this is a favorite of your wife's and of your former dog's as well. But Independence Day.
Oh, sure.
When David takes his little MacBook and goes up to the and somehow his MacBook can talk.
It's
to
IBM
the
compatible.
Yeah, it's a fucking Mac, and their spaceship. You can't get a Mac to talk to a fucking PC unless you're in that commercial. No way that thing is connecting.
Dare I remind you, Matt, that Jeff Goldblum worked for a cable company, so he knows how to do these technical things.
You fucking telling me that my Xfinity installation specialist is going to figure out how to hook my fucking road system up to...
As his father in the movie often makes fun of him for, yes, he is a cable install man.
Now, that has nothing on my next example, which it isn't as a movie or a television show, but the most egregious technology plot hole in the history of popular media is when Kelly Rowland tried to text Nellie via Microsoft Excel in the Dilemma video. Have you seen this?
I know what you're talking about. I
know what I'm talking about. She pulls up. I haven't even like a Nokia, like one of those.
It's on the ones that sideways turn that look like the sidekicks.
Can I throw a little wrench in there? What if it was a shared Google sheet?
This was in like 2006.
This is like pre Y2K almost.
Yeah.
Where are you at? How will you get this?
It's like Excel spreadsheet.
In cells A through B, A through F1.
I mean, also, let's say, let the technology working aside, what a fucking nerd. Like, I fucking love spreadsheets, but I don't fucking message people with them. I'm not that fucking lame. Like, that's more egregious. Yeah.
I mean,
I swear to God, I'm going to send you an Excel spreadsheet as an attachment.
Well, now I'm going to love it.
Well, make sure it's as a Google sheet so we can all see it at the same time.
That's too practical.
Anything that involves the internet between 1989 and 1999, pretty much.
Anything from hackers.
Yeah. The net.
What do you feel? And this is one that I love because it's tackled in the movie's sequel, but it's done comedically. What do we feel about the plot holes surrounding Gremlins? About what constitutes after midnight? What does after midnight mean?
Well, it's clear it means in that time zone.
But why?
It doesn't matter. It's over.
and when can you start feeding them again?
That was exactly what Spielberg said to Dante. He was like, "But are you sure?" He's like, "Because the movie work. Just fucking do your shit and make this happen." We need to tell. Need to tell that really gross story about Santa Claus.
I like how in that hypothetical situation, Joe Dante is the voice of reason.
Yes,
he's like,
because Spielberg is like, just fucking make. I just want to see Phoebe Cates deliver the most uncomfortable monologue of all time. That's why I'm here. I want to put the mom's head rolling down the staircase.
Joe Dante is like, I made this giant prop, but why?
Intuitively, I feel like it's just. You have to stop feeding them at midnight, whatever time zone you're in.
Okay.
And then you can feed them again once McDonald's stopped serving breakfast. That just feels
No.
That just feels like the cutoff.
Once they're
10:30.
They
awake-
stop serving
once
breakfast. They
they're
can't
awake
have a
and look
normal
hungry.
breakfast. Yeah, it should be at like 6 a.m. You can't make them not have breakfast. These are growing mogwai.
No, they have breakfast at 10:30.
No, that's too late. They got to go to school and shit. No, I'm not making my
Mogwais
mogwai
go to
wait.
school?
My mogwai. I'm going to say from 12 to 6. So 12 to 6. Those are the off
But like,
hours.
or at least like when the sun comes up in
like
parts of the year,
6
parts
or
of the year,
7.
6 a.m. It's pitch black out.
Oh, we're fucking gremlins in Alaska now, where like they can never eat because it's dark outside all night.
Well, don't take
So you
the
have
gremlin
a
to
bunch
Alaska.
of dead, starved mogwai in Alaska. So
Well,
sad.
honestly, if the light thing was like, you know, that would make sense. Like midnight to like real light, like vampire
so
rules,
12,
right?
12 to 6,
But
12 to 7.
that would be a good plot hole for a sequel. It takes place in Alaska, and it's light all
night.
day.
The long night. Yeah, so
And like,
ju-
when
they
the
just
fuck can I
eat
feed
forever.
this thing?
They just eat all the time. I love it. All right, so there is a movie.
And then you find out it's a shared universe with the thing.
Yes, I love it. There is a Disney movie that I feel is so riddled with multiple plot holes that it makes me somewhat angry whenever I see it.
Frozen?
No. Beauty and the
Song of
Beast.
the South.
Those aren't plot holes. That's Jerry Seinfeld's favorite movie, but you can't do that anymore. All right. So Beauty and the Beast.
Did I send you the meme where you could never make Blazing Saddles anymore? Actor would read the script and say, "This is Blazing Saddles. It's already a movie."
That's a great punchline. That's one of my favorite punchlines. All right, so Beauty and the Beast. There's a couple problems. Number one, the Beast by the actual years given in the movie is a child. When the witch comes and fucking tests him to be like, well, she's
Yes.
like, "Hey, can I come in your house?" He's like, "No, lady, I'm fucking 8. I don't let my parents aren't even around." She's like, "Oh, cursed forever because you're an asshole kid." So she does that and turns him into a beast, whose name, by the way, is Beast. No one ever bothered. He never bothers to be like, "By the way, my name is Dave. I've Prince
He has
Dave."
a name.
Not in the movie. She just calls him Beast. She says it to his fucking furry face.
But he has a name.
What is it, Nick?
I'll Google it.
There's no fucking song about it's Beauty and the Beast. They sing it at the end of the movie
Yes,
after he's
my
changed.
name is Dave. I'm not a beast.
But he is never referenced by his name, by him.
Ron Perlman. Okay. So although
His name
the
is
movie,
Ronald.
although the movie and others never made mention of his real name, the CD-ROM game, the D Show, which is also something that Ben Wilson used to host in college,
there it is.
said the prince's name is Adam.
Oh, well, good. So anyways, no one fucking calls him Adam. He never tells anyone to call him. These people used to work for him. But also, these people are turned into inanimate furniture in the house of varying things. So somebody there's a toilet, right? Like, they don't get a song, but someone there got turned into a toilet and just has to get fucking shit on for this. But also, they had nothing to do with any of this. And then when they get turned at the end after it's been like 10 years or whatever, they're all the same age that they were. That kid has lived 10 years of life. Chip obviously is missing a part of his body because it's been chipped off of his thing. That movie is I would like to see a John a John Carpenter body horror movie version of Beauty and the Beast that just fucking goes full ham on it. I think it'd be great. But that movie bothers me. Like, everything in that movie is a fucking plot hole. I don't care for it. That's all.
To this day, I've seen that movie in the theater more times than any other film.
And still didn't know what his name was.
3 times.
That's wild. I've seen so many movies more
Adam.
than that.
In the theater? What's your record? What is your record?
I saw Phantom Menace 6 times. I saw Austin
Whoa.
Powers 4. I saw Bigger, Longer, and Uncut 6 times. I saw.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring 9 times.
Wow.
What?
I don't think I've beaten 6, but I have gone to see at least six times.
I saw Fellowship of the
Wow.
Ring 4 times in the first weekend.
Damn.
I saw first
Y'all-
Harry Potter.
y'all are nerds.
I saw first Harry Potter 6 times in the theater.
Y'all are fucking nerds.
Well, I went
Yeah,
with
we are.
different people. I wanted to go share the experience.
That's pretty much what happened with me. Is I saw it on my birthday. I saw it the next night with people from work. Saw it the next day with my family.
Oh yeah, because
And-
that opened like right at your birthday.
Yeah, it opened on my birthday.
That's
See,
crazy.
I would wait till I got it on VHS and the puffy VHS holder, and then rewatch it over and over and over and over again. But
It's-
very rare. I mean, like
Well,
It's called
most
a clamshell. Please show some respect.
Clamshell, sorry.
It's called a clamshell.
I saw Beauty and the Beast 3 times in the theater, and in second place is the aforementioned Day After Tomorrow with
Oh
2.
my God, are you
that's
fucking
tied for the
kidding me?
second. I'm dead serious because I don't see movies in the theater multiple times. It doesn't.
I
happen
watched
right
that movie once on video under protest, and I thought it was the
I-
worst goddamn thing I've ever
I
seen.
saw Jurassic Park 7 times.
Oh wow!
God
Wait,
damn.
oh, so Day After Tomorrow, amazing fucking plot hole in this movie. The dumbest fucking plot holes of any movie I've ever seen. They're all in a room at the end. The wolves have gotten close to them, and these are like smart wolves in that they're kind of like raptors. Like they can like maybe figure out a door or some shit, and like maybe some
And
loose
they're-
plotting.
And they're hungry, and they're hungry, but not in the Duran Duran kind of way.
They want to eat human flesh, and there's a bunch of humans in a library that have like sequestered themselves.
This
And
is
they-
when they're on the boat, though. They're not.
Oh, they're not. Okay, I couldn't remember where. I know that they were in a place, and so they
Remember, I saw
Ben
this.
saw
I
it
this-
5 times.
amazing.
5 times in the theater.
So these wolves are after them, and they have to figure out a plan to beat the wolves. So they all huddle together and they start whispering. And I laughed so fucking hard to go, why are they whispering? Like, the wolves knew where they were. There's glass window. They're windows. The wolves can see them. They were whispering like the wolves are gonna be like,
You don't remember this movie correctly.
listen. They whisper at whatever the point is. At some point, they whisper a plan so that the wolves don't hear what their plan is. I swear to God, that moment happens in the movie. And there's no precedent that these wolves understand human English language.
The wolves aren't in the room or in visual area.
So why are they whispering?
Because they don't want to attract the wolves that are on the boat.
I don't know. I gotta go watch this again. I'm gonna go watch it again. Never, but I'm gonna continue to think I'm right. I'm gonna tell you I watched it and say that I was right. So that makes me happier.
You're just mad they didn't call it in 2 days. Be honest.
I am really honestly
Be
mad
honest.
at Dr. Rick, a contributor to the show, is the human that made me watch this god awful terrible movie, and he had seen it already, and thought I was going to enjoy this, and I did not. I was very upset. Ben, anything else on your list? Any big ones?
No. I mean, now that we've covered time travel, I'm pretty. I would just like to reinforce that's the reason why I love Primer so much, because it
is.
actually makes sense.
It's the only one that
Fair,
works.
Fair. Hey, Matt,
Yes.
check your text real quick.
Oh boy.
Uh oh.
What is happening?
Dead air.
I am checking my text. God damn it. Nick has sent me a spreadsheet, and it's so tiny on here. Oh, you didn't even muck it. You put me at the Z column. I can't. Wait.
What? No.
I can't. No, it's everything is tiny up at the top. There's nothing
No, that's
on
not
here.
how you do it. No. Oh, you see it.
No, I can't. I've got to.
It says "fuck you" in an Excel spreadsheet. It works perfectly.
Oh, at the okay. First of all, if just one note for you. If you're gonna do it, don't make it look like the titles of the columns, which would be letters. So I just assumed that those were the column headings, like A, B, C,
Well,
D.
that's a you problem, Matt. Do you have letter blindness?
I guess you're just blaming the PC culture of not understanding your text jokes. It's fine.
Ben would have gotten it.
I don't know if I have any. I always bothered me a little bit that.
Wait. Okay, wait. So you thought the columns
Yes.
were just empty columns, were just FUCKYOU
it was-
exclamation point?
It was so small on my screen, Nick. It just looked like a spreadsheet.
For God's sake.
Do we care that Cinderella's slipper doesn't change back at midnight?
Nah.
Okay.
Nah.
It's Disney. Fuck it.
Do we care?
What are you, Joan Rivers?
Do we
what else
care
would
that
criticize?
the Matrix is using human beings for batteries and spending millions and millions of amperes of energy keeping them alive in the goo instead of being like a fucking cow or some shit?
No.
Oh, okay.
You know why?
Here we go. A formidable foe.
So we don't know what type of energy conversion systems they're actually using in those cases. But I'll also say that wasn't the original script.
You're correct on the second part. That does not excuse the first part. They wanted something better, but they thought the audience wouldn't understand, and so they made their own thing. Also, at Matrix 2, he makes an EMP in the real world with his body, and it doesn't make any sense, and they never revisit that again. Didn't care for that.
Well, Sonic the Hedgehog made an EMP and caused 9/11 too. Remember that?
Everyone remembers that.
I know we talked about that on an episode.
We sure did.
I know for a fact.
Citizen Kane is a good one. No one is there when he says Rosebud, and they report on his final words.
The butler is.
The butler is there.
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, they don't show it, but the butler later says he was there in the room.
Oh, I always hear that.
He says it. He says it.
Yeah.
I was
explicitly.
there. I was there. I heard him say Rosebud. I don't know why he's Cockney, but I assume that's there.
No, it's said that the butler was in the room.
Okay, and the last one that's important. This is important for our generation. Do we think Rose was just worried that Jack was going to sink her down and let him die so that she could live on at Titanic when there was clearly room for both of them on the door?
I think they were just cold.
They were just not thinking their best. They had gone through a lot, and he had that post-cum clarity too. So,
I mean, she got that portrait. What else? She gonna get from him?
He drew her like one of his French girls.
Jesus, she got her tit pic that she could use. You know, okay, interesting.
He served his purpose.
That's actually how she stayed alive. She stayed warm on the door after he
they called her the Black Widow.
He served his purpose. So cold.
Yeah.
That's cold, Nick.
She was originally planning to kill Billy Zane and take his fortune, but she didn't get that far.
Which, I mean, she should have killed Billy Zane. She had hid from him at the end of it. What do you think happens to Billy Zane at the end of
no
that
one
movie?
should kill Billy Zane. Billy Zane is a national treasure.
What do you think his post-Titanic character arc is? This is kind of a tangent of our episode.
He marries. They say it in the postscript. They say it in the postscript. He married some other rich woman.
Oh.
No, Billy Zane goes back to the future, becomes one of Biff's toadies.
He's in the past. He's going to travel ahead in time.
He has to go back to the future.
He has to go to the future.
And if he really wants to join Ben Affleck's in Phantoms, but then miscalculates and actually becomes the Phantom.
He was the bomb in Phantom.
There are, by the way, 1,000 plot holes in Phantoms, at least as I remember watching it. I have not seen it recently enough to comment, but we could have done an entire episode on the plot holes.
I'm sure there are tons of plot holes in The Phantom, starring Billy Zane.
They're both of them.
Billy Zane was the bomb in The Phantom, yo.
There was a version where they
that
were
was
going
a joke I was making.
Yes.
I know. It's just
funny.
It's funny is what I'm saying.
I think what we really want to think about with time travel is, could we go back in time and put Ben Affleck in The Phantom and Billy Zane in Phantoms, and would this change the trajectory of either of their careers and or those movies?
I can see it working in both cases, though. I'll say that much.
Yeah. They're similar, especially 90s Zane was very much 90. Like, I would say Affleck is kind of the poor man Zane in the 90s. He's a villain guy, but he's not quite as formidable as Zane.
Not as zany.
Well, we're not going to end on a better note than that. So I think that'll be it.
He was tiny and toony, however.
And just a little bit cartoony.
Yeah.
Want to thank you so much for listening to the New Way podcast.
What was the Tales from the Crypt movie?
A Bordello of Blood.
Bordello Blood.
Oh, yeah.
Jesus. I've never seen us go for that chicken so hard together at the same time. Holy
Fucking love Billy Zane in that movie.
Bordello of Blood. I saw that movie in the theater twice.
Angie Everhart, and there was a what was the song? It's all right now.
Maybe
I'm
That song. Baby, it's all right.
I'm thinking of Demon Knight, though.
Oh, there were two.
There were two.
He
Yeah,
was
Demon Knight.
Was he Bordello or Demon
No,
Knight?
it was Demon Knight.
What came first? What
was
came
the-
first? Bordello of Blood
No,
or
Demon Knight came in first.
No,
He
no,
was
no,
in the
no.
first
Bordello
one, so I think you might be right.
from Dust. I'm saying from Dusk Till Dawn or Bordello of Blood. Which came first?
Dust Till
Because
Dawn.
they absolutely kind of have the same type of like.
I'm pretty sure
Ah.
Dust Till Dawn came first.
Huh.
we will.
No, I think Bordello of Blood or Dusk Till Dawn.
But I was thinking of Demon Knight.
But that doesn't have similar plot. Never mind.
Demon Knight.
But it
Ben
has,
is correct. Is 1995. Billy Zane and
Billy
William
Zane.
Sadler.
Yep.
Where's Bordello of Blood though? Why is that not on here?
Bordello of Blood is
It never existed.
1996.
Wow. So it was just
Dust Till Dawn, 1996 or 1997.
And Dust Till Dawn is 96 as
it's
well.
because Bordello of Blood is just called Bordello. It's not called Tales from the Crypt Bordello of Blood. It is called. Wow. I wonder what that's all
But
about.
that is also 96, just like from Dust Till Dawn, and they are very similar. That's another. We'd have to do some more research for this, but another topic would be movies that are kind of in the zeitgeist and kind of came out at
let's
the
do
same
it.
time.
Yeah. Volcano and Dante's Peak.
Yes, exactly.
First of all,
Eh.
I don't know that we spent an entire episode on it, but we
we
broached
have.
this topic
We have,
before
Yeah.
on these because we did Ants and Bugs Life. We did
Yeah.
we did Dante's Peak and Volcano. We did Armageddon and the worst shitty version of Armageddon. The fuck's that stupid goddamn movie called with
All right.
Mimi Leader's movie. Deep Impact.
With Morgan Freeman and Elijah Wood.
So bad. Fucking the worst goddamn movie. I cannot believe that we got two Tales from the Crypt movies 1 year apart. Like they did one in 95 and they're like, guys,
Tales from the Crypt don't fuck around.
let's get this back on here and let's do this. And then we had Dennis Miller, Erica Laniak in the second one. So they were really breaking out stops. Amazing. We want to thank you so much for listening to the New Way podcast. We're going to record at least one episode next week with all of us in person. We might even try to sneak in an X-Men episode. And maybe I can tell tale of the multiple X-Men characters I am voicing in this parody series because I picked up some other ones.
I think we should do an erotic reading with you alternating between characters on those.
I think I should just do Scary Teddy as an erotic reading, and that will work out well.
Oh, yeah, I'll play a character.
Awesome. I want to thank you so much for listening, and we'll talk to you next time. Cheers.
Plancha. God damn it.
Cheers.